Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. You know, my brothers and sisters in Islam, we are now in the last 10 days of Ramadan. And of course, you know that a believer is supposed to put as much effort as he can during these 10 nights in the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. And there is nothing that encourages a person to remain committed upon Islam and upon the worship of Allah more than the mention and the remembrance of death. This encourages a person to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. I remember here a hadith as I stand here in the cemetery, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, يَتْبَعُ الْمَيِّتَ ثَلَاث. There are three things that follow a person when he dies. They follow him to his grave. يَتْبَعُ الْمَيِّتَ ثَلَاث. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ وَعَمَلُهُ. His family, his friends, they all come and they follow the dead. And we just buried someone dead and we saw his family and everyone following him. وَمَالُهُ, and his wealth follows him as well. What this initially means, or classically what it meant, is that a person when he died and he owned slaves, and slaves were considered money, his slave would come and follow him to the grave. So that was a person's money following him to the grave. And the last thing that follows a person to his grave are his deeds, وَعَمَلُهُ, his righteous deeds. So then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, فَيَرْجِعُ اثْنَانِ وَيَبْقَ وَاحِدٌ. Two return and one remains with you in the grave. Your family and your friends and your wealth, they all go back. They all have business. Aslan, your wealth is going to be distributed among the inheritors. Everyone's gone. And there is only one thing that remains with you in the grave. وَيَبْقَى عَمَلُهُ. As the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, his deeds remain with him. Yani, my brothers and sisters in Islam, you think of this hadith and contemplate. You're living these last 10 days of Ramadan. Every salat you pray, that's going to come with you to the grave. Every Quran you recite and every letter of the Quran, every ayah, that is going to come with you and accompany you. It's going to accompany you in the grave. Every sadaqah you give, that's going to follow you and be company with you in the grave. For the believer, there's no loneliness in the grave. His righteous deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns them into a man that appears with a pleasant smell, looking beautiful. And he says to you, Ana amaluka salih. I am your good deeds. He keeps you company until Allah Azza wa Jal resurrects everyone from the grave. For remember this, as you're praying Salat al-Taraweeh and you become lazy, as you're reading Al-Quran and your mouth becomes dry, remember these meanings. When you're making dua and you're becoming tired, continue, because these deeds that you're doing now, and you'll forget about in the next few weeks, you'll forget about them. Allah does not forget about them. When you die, that's like a package. It's a bag that comes with you and it's put in your grave as well, but no one sees it. You will definitely be seeing it when you're in your grave. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability that we continue to worship Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our shortcomings, our sins. إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.